What's up, everybody? It's CMP with Craftmaster Productions and Studio1Tutorials.com. If you haven't been by the site to check out Savage 808s, it's a sub, then you just don't have the best 808s you could possibly have. It's that simple. Also, if you guys haven't been by the site to check out the music theory section, man, this is really something that I'm very proud of. It's a course that I made over March where I was dropping like 2 or 3 tutorials on music theory a week, you know, melodies and intervals, open voicing of your chords, 2 progressions that'll get rid of beat block forever, a very special odd progression here, the secret trap scale, the Phrygian mode taking care of 7 suspended chords, playing outside the scale, using other chord progressions to start a beat, using the Dorian scale, using only 1 chord to make a track, turning your chords into melodies or using chords as melodies and extracting a vibe. Very important information that you can only get at Studio One Tutorials with a premium membership. $15 a month, that's 50 cents a day, bro. But yeah, so right now we're looking at how to make your drums more exciting, and I just have the most basic bitch to drum pattern right now. All right, super simple. Typically what I go into to make the drums a little bit more exciting is I'll go ahead and start adding some, you know, some different rolls maybe in the hi-hats. I'll drop one right here. And then on the second, you know, on the second bar, I'm going to not just copy and paste, but I'm gonna add like a different variation to it. You know, you don't want to have one bar repeating after the other. All right, so that's the easy part, right? You know, messing with your hi-hats. Still, you know, a three sound drum pattern. You know, we definitely want to do better than that. You know, with the way that the competition in you know, in music is right now, everybody's just kind of just pushing the envelope. So what I like to do is I rely a lot nowadays on percussion loops, and I like just pretty much any ones I could get my hand on. I'm always looking for percussion loop packs. And the way that I like to use them, especially in Studio One, is I have my track, and if you click this button down here, this will stretch an audio loop to the tempo of your project. So even though none of these are in 145, you don't have to find a 145 to make it work. And then what I'll do is you can use this slider to audition, and I'll just go ahead and make sure I got the limiter on so you guys can hear this. Yeah, and I'll just go ahead and start auditioning different loops and see what fits. That's cool, but that's a little too simple. Let me just keep going. See, like that one, I like that one. When I hear one that I like, I'm not the type of person, and I'd like to give you guys this little piece of advice too. I'm not the type of person who wants to hear every option. Like, I'm not going to get anxiety like, oh, what if I pick the wrong loop? You know what I mean? I just want to, if I hear something and it works, I drop it on the track and that's it. And then another thing that I like to do with these loops is I have a reverb set up in my templates. If you guys haven't seen my template tutorial, you guys definitely need to look at that. It's on the front page of studio1tutorials.com. Just scroll down, and it's the beginner tutorial. It's such an important thing. But I have two reverbs set up at all times. I have a hall reverb which functions as a long tail reverb, and then I have a shorter tail reverb which is my plate reverb, and that's what I use for, for drum sounds, chants, or things that I don't want to have a long sustained reverb tail. And what I like to do with these percussion loops is I'll go ahead and like really saturate them in in the plate reverb. All right, and that'll kind of help out. Another thing that I like to do a lot lately is push and pull the snare. If you go into analyzing some of your favorite, like pick out your favorite beat, like the beat that's just amazing, drop it into Studio One, find the tempo, and then look how the waves line up. A lot of the times you're gonna find that the snares aren't hitting 100% on the on that 3. So you could do a couple things. You could I don't really like to do it with sample 1, but the way that I like to do it is I'll zoom in really close, really close, highlight all of them, hold down shift, and just bump them off the grid slightly, just ever so slightly. I mean, I'm talking just a little bit, right? And it's not so much to where it's gonna make it sound off beat, and your ear might not even pick up on it, but trust me, it's doing something. Then if you're working with this with this 2-bar loop, you don't want to have the same kick over and over again. So on this second bar, you want to either add or take away something. If we took away, it would sound like this. And then if you take away, reposition it somewhere, right? And then maybe even add another one. And then we get all these amazing packs, with different percussion sounds. Don't be afraid to use them. That's what they're there for. And then maybe use a perk like you would, that like a hi-hat, how you would have that on the on your ands, on your 2s and 4s. Let's find something. I don't like that. All right, see, like that'll work. So let's just go ahead and program this in, just to add a little bit of pace. Now, if you're making like something like this, and you're going to be using like an 808 centric type of vibe, you can go ahead and just take your kick, slide it up. Let's go ahead and turn this down. Apologies for the killers in the background. And then if you got, say you got kicks that are real spread out like this, you know, your 808, you know, to make a more interesting pattern, your 808 doesn't always have to fall directly on your kick. So you can add one to kind of add some variation, right? So let's see, let's take this one. And then let's take and I'll add a pitch bend. And the reason why I use the pitch bend in Studio One as opposed to just using the glide function like I would in, say, Machine or something like that, is because the glide function in Sample One is doo-doo. Like it's straight caca. So we're gonna go ahead and have an alternate solution. And see what I did there is I made this note, I made this lower note slide up an octave and get closer to this one right here, so it kind of creates like a suction feel. Now another thing that you can do, and this is why I like to keep my template intact and have this routing, is I always have a bus with my drums and my bands completely separated, so I can go ahead and take something like, hands down, my favorite plugin, Sugar Bytes Loop Raider, and create kind of like a rhythmic automation section. And then we'll set this add remove parameters, bypass. That way I could set up an automation clip where this is not playing, and then where it is playing, so I could kind of use this section through different parts of the arrangement when I get to that point. So you'll have this original version. So yeah, man, you could definitely see how everything. That's why I use the keep it simple, don't be basic, because that is literally my whole mantra. Is I always start as far as like the actual beat programming, the drums and everything. I always start with something very, very simple, because if you can master taking a simple rhythm, the simple rhythm that is a continuous loop, and then slowly tweaking it and changing it to where you keep that DNA, and and expand on it, which is like something where like all four on the floor EDM music is based off of. Just taking something simple, changing it. But anyway, yeah, doing small subtle changes over the course of an arrangement in order to keep interest. Drum programming will be super easy. So just the whole point of this tutorial is don't just stop at copying your 808 and making it hit the same notes as your kick, and doing a straight hi-hat with just a couple rolls. Go ahead and add a percussion loop. Find a percussion sound that you've never heard anybody use in any tutorial, and it's not in any type beat. And throw it in your own beats, and don't be afraid to dig into your sample packs, because these sample packs, man, that have been coming out, the sound design is getting so excellent that there's so many great new sounds, and a lot of them are getting slept on because everybody wants to use the same sounds over and over again. And the producers who are winning are the ones that are experimenting. So yeah, man, this is CMP with Craftmaster Productions, Studio1Tutorials.com. Keep it simple, don't be basic, and we will see you on the next. So this is CMP with Craftmaster Productions, Studio1tutorials.com. Don't forget to stop by the site, man. 50 cents a day, access to mixing tutorials, music theory, and type beat tutorials. Keep it simple, don't be basic, and we will see you on the next one.